We wait for the smoke to clear. The referee is Mr. George Clancy. And interestingly, the two assistant referees, Frank Murphy is an ex-Munster and Ireland A player, and Leicester, of course, scrum half, and Mike Adamson, the other assistant referee, is a former Scotland Sevens international. As we look at George Clancy there, and it's Rhys Patchell, of course, to kick off for the Scarlets. The stadium is pretty much scarlet all around, as you'll probably see on that far side on your screen. And a good start is what Wayne Tivac mentioned to Catherine Helleth earlier on. Tian Meyer getting his big runners going on the 22.
Stay inside now.
Not a breath of air either in the Park of Scarlets. You couldn't get better conditions, apart from the fact it could be a bit warm out there for the players. Halfpenny taking his first Gary Owen. It's the 10-metre line of the Cheetahs. Patchell going to the right-hand side. The Scarlets again trying to keep the ball alive, as they've done well for the last two seasons. As James Davis on the charge. Into the midfield goes Cummings, the Australian. And Scarlets looking with plenty of running in them early on. It's Tom Pridey back tonight on the wing, former Wales international. Still on the 22, Halfpenny, Steph Evans. Gareth Davis.
Advantage.
It's gone forward off Rob Evans.
No.
Very unusual for Rob Evans, it must be said, to spill a pass like that. But a chance for the Cheetahs to clear. It's only as far as Halfpenny though, on halfway. Feints and darts to come to the short side. Back nice and quick for Gareth Davis. Lewis Rawlins, Patchell, Parks. Gareth Davis having to burrow a little bit. Patchell. Good early possession these opening 2 minutes from the Scarlets.
Tackle!
A little bit slovenly this time though for Gareth Davis. Parks, Steph Evans loitering with intent in the outside centre position.
Back.
Parks as first receiver into Tygburn. Gareth Davis using the short side again. Patchell almost 7 minutes outside of a tackle. Hadley Parks into the 22. Patchell's little step just kept Cheetahs guessing, but they've conceded for holding on. But a good start by the Scarlets, Richie.
Yeah, cracking start from the Scarlets. Fair, they could quite clearly see the way they're looking to play today. They want to keep the ball on the field of the Scarlets. They just want to go through some phases, force the Cheetahs to make some tackles, and then pick the mismatch out. They've got such a dangerous backline. But there's that man, we've seen him twice already, the guy who's going to be the Scarlets next year, Clayton Broomcheese from the Cheetahs, the 15. He made a decent tackle on Parks. He's not a small bloke, as Parks, and he's managed to keep hold of him, hold him up, keep him off the floor that extra second to just allow Schumann, I think it was, in over the ball just to get that jack. And Clancy, the referee, George Clancy, was in on top of it. But it's good from the Scarlets, the challenge in that big Cheetahs tight five.
No, it's his hand.
The Halfpenny just having a little bit of running repairs.
Play on.
Yeah, Clancy's told them to get on with it though. They're just going to have to sort their backfield out now. The Scarlets are obviously down a man. It's more than likely to be an exit here. So Steph Evans has shifted back to the backfield.
Should be said that Cheetahs are no mugs. They've only lost one of their last 5 in the Pro 40. And Scarlets have burgled possession though. Ends up in the hands of John Barclay, the Scotsman, playing his final game at the Park of Scarlets tonight, of course.
Tackle!
Hopefully he'll have 2 more.
No, leave it.
Possession at will for the Scarlets at the moment. Davis to Patchell. Patchell has spotted a little half a gap, just couldn't get the pass in. James Davis has to go and tidy it up. Now it's Steph Evans. Rob Evans. Gareth Davis. Parks. Scott Williams. Little dink and dare. Down to the 22. Will give a line out. But once again, Richie, Patchell, I don't know what he does. He's just got that sort of like a half hitch kick that keeps the defence guessing. Yeah,
watch who was in front of him at the time. It was Nish, the tight end prop, and Kazima. There's another guy who's going to be playing down here in Parker Scarlets next season. So look how flat he takes it to line. He just picks the mismatch between the two, and maybe can he just hold on to that? But that is what Patchell, he's one of the best in Wales at. He plays very flat to line. He's a big, physical, quick guy, and the Cheetahs are off already.
But they've turned it over, and here's a great chance for the Scarlets. Here's Patchell. Patchell out to Steph Evans, and this will be a walk-in for the win, and the Scarlets are on the board. Well, they took advantage of the quick turnover, and once you give Steph Evans a sight of the whitewash, it's good night, Irene.
It's exactly what the Cheetahs can't afford today. They need structure in their game to the Cheetahs. They've got a big line-out, big scrum presence throughout the game, but as soon as they've gone for an exit play, and it's just a simple knock-on, a quick turnover, and as all 70% of tries are scored these days through turnovers, it's just a simple early shift away from the contact there. Reece Patchell spotted the mismatch, just thrown a lovely miss one, real flat ball across the line. Steph Evans, he hasn't had to do anything but run it in from 10 metres out.
And you can't say that hasn't been coming. So is this Gareth Davis making his way off?
Okay.
No, Rob Evans. Rob Evans, yeah.
Similar shape on him, Phil.
yeah. Sorry, Rob. Pembrokeshire boy, of course, Rob Evans, the Spittal special one from a little village not far from Fishguard called Spittal.
They just need to be careful of the Cheetahs now. They need to stay in this game for the opening 20 minutes. As soon as Scarlets get 2-3 tries ahead, that's when they really start to roll. That's really when we see their expansive brand of rugby, and with the players they've got on the park this evening, you know, whether that be Pride, he's been lively already in this opening 6 minutes. He's got his hands on the ball. He hasn't played for a few months due to injury, but that be Pride, Steph Evans, Lee Halfpenny, Scott Williams, Reece Patchell. They've got danger all over the field.
And here's Halfpenny. How often have we seen this in the red of both Wales and the Scarlets? And there's Death, Taxes, and Lee Halfpenny from the touchline, and Scarlets have a 7-0 lead. And in a quarter-final like this, obviously nerves are going to be there. That'll have an unsettling effect as well.
Yeah, definitely. And the Scarlets now, for me, they just need to play the territory game straight away. The 7 points on the board within the first 7 minutes. It's all come through a Cheetahs area, so force them back in the pocket, force them to do exactly the same thing again. And that's exactly what Gareth Davis has done.
And that's the future Scarlet Bloomer cheese with the just mistake. Yeah, already gone out though. So
did you used to have one of those haircuts, Phil?
Not even when I was born did I ever have one of those. No. Taken by former Scarlet and former Osprey Rania Bernardo. You might recognise that name in the middle of the line out for the Cheetahs. And this is their first real bit of possession of the match. Steph Evans, little juggle.
They're getting caught narrow initially, the Cheetahs defensively, so if you can play into midfield, they're very, very open for this return play. As long as you speed into position from an attacking point of view is good, I think that's going to be there all day. They're a big tight 5, as we mentioned.
Gareth Davis getting a kick charge down by Carl Wegner, but it worked out fortuitously, and Halfpenny has a chance to redeem matters.
He's taken back though from the initial. Patchell thrown it from outside the 22, threw it back to Lee Halfpenny, which he didn't notice.
Right, best attacking opportunity so far for the Cheetahs.
Yeah, that's just what the Scarlets need to probably try and minimise the unforced error. You go to strength then, which the Cheetahs are good at, but Bernardo just getting through on Gareth Davis. Blockers maybe could help him out just a little. You see Patchell throwing it back into the 22. It's giving the Cheetahs this attacking opportunity.
Cheetahs course, beat the Scarlets 28-21 in Bloemfontein in December. And here's a bit of caveman stuff from the South Africans. Not with any great momentum at the moment. Now they've got a chance to the right-hand side. Taken, it must have been a knock on.
Yeah,
says
knock on from
Mr.
there.
Clancy.
At base of that driving line-up, but that's a killer from any attack coach. You saw the exit, it was the unforced error there, and just tries to play away from this driving line-up. Ball just comes off the backside of Torsten van Jaarsveld, the hooker and the skipper for the Cheetahs. And again, you're giving the Scarlets, this potent Scarlets attacking back line, this opportunity. They're even only 15 metres from this line, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them play a little bit to edge here. You can see Pridey already set inside Patchell as first receiver.
They've won 12 of their 21 games of the regular season, the Cheetahs, for 63 points, but they have managed 15 bonus points, which gives an example of how they play the game. Good scrum by the Scarlets. Patchell just makes it up to the 22.
Roll away, tackler. Roll away, 10.
A chance for the Cheetahs for the first time from broken play. Up to the halfway line goes Vettenter.
2 knock-ons, forced by Orange.
The captain.
From red ball.
Knock on again, though.
It's unfortunate for the Cheetahs, but they're not helping themselves at the moment.
No.
Just looking for the offload back on the inside, trying to force your hands.
Apart on the setup.
That man Venter, he's their go-to guy, whether that be up the middle or he's got a bit of the ball player about him. He's top of the offload charts for Venter, out of both these teams, out of both these match squads. He's a very decent, industrious, hard-working player. A good battle him up against Hadley Parks this evening.
Yeah, one of 2 Springboks in this Cheetahs starting lineup. Of course, the other one, of course, is Johan Goossen, who is back out of retirement, of course, within the last month.
Yeah, they got Zelinga, who's been their top goal kicker. He's their main, he's their first choice 10 all season. He's not playing, he's injured. This was a big ask for Goossen.
He signed for Montpellier, has he, for next season, after the rather abrupt ending of his career with Racing. But he's a top quality player, is Goossen, even if he might be a little bit rusty. Top 14 winner, of course, with Racing in 2016.
Just to the left of that.
Yeah, one guy's keep an eye out from the Cheetahs is Mahoje. He's playing at 7 today, he's normally a 6, so he's covered the whole back row actually this season for the Cheetahs. Mahoje, he can carry the ball, he's always getting you gain line.
Crouch!
And these days, if you're getting gain line, it's increasing your speed of ball, so just be careful with that back row. Schumann, Mahoje and Kasim, who's coming to pack the Scarlets next season.
That's the halfway line, and that's another good scrum by the Scarlets. Barclay holding at the back, penalty advantage coming.
Popping up far side, under pressure.
So, positive signs in the last 2 scrums for the Scarlets.
Yeah, that's what the Welsh front row will give you, I suppose. Talented
right there
throughout then. Rob Evans, Ken Owens, back and skipper, and Samson Lee. They all give you different things around the park. They've all got different skill sets.
And no surprise, Lee Halfpenny fancying his chances. Just looking at his kicking stats for the Pro 14, he's on 79 points, well, 81 points now with his conversion earlier on, but just 71%, which is quite surprising for a kicker of his quality.
Yeah, and ironically, the best in the league is Zelinga, who's not playing for him and Jared Evans of the Cardiff Blues. They're both on 85%. So I'm sure knowing Lee, he won't be particularly happy with that, but it's not bad, Phil.
No, I'd have settled for that. I'd have settled for 71% times I caught the ball. Halfpenny, just under 50 metres. And it's off the post. And Cheetahs, well, trying to run it out, but getting themselves in a bit of trouble again. And a penalty conceded once more, Richie. We're just, as you just said earlier on, that the Cheetahs need to just play a bit of percentage stuff at the moment, perhaps.
Yeah, most definitely, but I think again, it's that man Tagburn. Before this game, he was the highest turnover merchant in the league by, in the two squads of this game by more than double again. Turnovers taking him to 38 turnovers in the league, and for a guy of his build, that's absolutely outstanding. But what's the work of Tom Pridey on this kick chase? Initially, not many Scarlets moved, but he just forces Bloomcheese back on the inside, in turn forces him to make that offload that probably wasn't there, and then next thing you know, that man again, Tagburn, is going to be a huge loss for the Scarlets next season. Between them, Lucky initially makes the tackle, Burn, and then after the good work from Simmons, he's in over the ball. And so one shot, one bullet sort of thing. One bullet. You've got to get him out of there. If you don't, he's always going to get that turnover.
The proud son of Newbridge in County Kildare, Tagburn, but will of course be joining Leinster's arch rivals Munster from next season. Here's Halfpenny. See him just shielding his eyes from the sun. The crowd will tell you, no problem at all for the Wales and Lions fullback with that one, and extends the Scarlets lead.
Yeah, at the moment, if you're the Scarlets, you just need to keep doing what you're doing. Play a little bit of the territory, going for the pressure all on the Cheetahs at the moment. They're simply not handling it. The unforced error after unforced error.
Gareth Davis doing the necessary again. Bloomcheese makes it up to the 10-metre line. William Small-Smith, the emergency scrum half, to Uzia Kassiem. And it goes astray again, and Patchell picks it up, gives it to Gareth Davis over halfway. Tagburn up in support, just couldn't get the pass in. Owens acts as a scrum half. Halfpenny, Barkley, hint of something on that far side for the Scarlets. Davis darting around the blind once more. Hadley parks into the 22, gets it past the Halfpenny, and it's as easy as that from the Scarlets. Brilliantly simple, but simply brilliant from the men in red.
Again, no, just look where it comes from. It's a Cheetahs turnover again. It's that man Bloomcheese. He looks just throw it on the inside, but initially it was Patchell and Gareth Davis up this left-hand side. We can just see now Venter goes through the hole into Bloomcheese, knock on, Patchell picks it up, and then they go from one edge of the field to the other. It's Gareth Davis, Ken Overs managed to juggle, and again Gareth Davis back in the game, looking for a second touch. Hadley Parks through the initial tackle. Halfpenny on the inside, takes it into the sticks to make his kick a lot easier. But if we carry on with the error in the game that the Cheetahs have got at the moment, this could be a 40-50 pointer.
What you have to say as well, though, Richie, is that the ability of the Scarlets to, I mean, it's all really well getting the turnover in the first place, but you've still got to use it, and they've done that brilliantly, haven't they? As Halfpenny puts over the extras.
Yeah, and what's key for me in the Scarlets, they're all, the skill set of the majority of the players. We see Ken Owens juggling that ball, he's throwing there a 10-metre pass. We've seen Tagburn looking for a second touch, and they're all linked players now. Gareth Davis, Reece Patchell are probably the conductors pulling the strings, but then everybody around them is up to a skill level that is required to play the style of rugby that they do.
And they all want the ball now. Steph Evans offering himself for the restart. And an ideal start for the Scarlets as we come towards the end of the first quarter. Knock on, says Mr. Clancy.
Yes, something the referees have definitely been told to clamp down. And watch the way Gareth Davis manipulates his ball to the back of this breakdown, and effectively George Clancy, the referee, has just said it's out of the ruck. So initially Mahoji, I think it was just shot through, giving him a bit of a... Watch him just move this ball now. Oh, he's just before that, but it's just outside of Cummins' legs, and they're just trying to quicken the game up. Other referees, but you know, it's a tough call. You could probably bring back everyone for one of those. But it's two little bits of untidy work at the back of breakdown leading to a box kick. But here's that try again. Just Hadley Parks frees his hands up and it's easy transfer in. But as Phil, as you touched on, look where it comes from. But of course allowed it to happen with the skill set of the players that Lee Halfpenny has had before he's received the ball.
It is Lee Halfpenny.
There's your mark, thank you. I'm going to stay this side. Down the middle, please, from half.
So Cheetahs have at least got a scrum in a reasonable position.
Yeah. Right there.
If you're the Cheetahs coach or Rory Duncan now, you just say, let's go through a few phases. Let's go to our go-to men, whether that be Mahoji, Kazim, Venter. One of them just needs to get hold of the ball and try and get you gain line, try and get you a little bit of go forward here.
And a better scrum from the Cheetahs as well, although Mr. Clancy wants it again.
Hang on, easy guys, easy.
Uzair Kasim at the back, number 8. He's Scarlets
guys, you need to see
found
better
as well.
at the scrum. Okay, you're too far apart and already shoulder to shoulder before I say this set. Now start it out.
Tough old two men to replace in the back row, though, John Barkley and Tad Bird.
Let's go.
And of course they've got Sam Hildegold-Klein as well coming.
It's a good signing, that is. He was at Edinburgh when I was there. He's a good, talented young scrum half. Lovely left peg, lovely running game, suits the style of play that Scarlets play.
Tian Mayer with the feed, held at the back by Kasim.
There he is, Venter.
Yeah, Venter taking the Roman road into the 22. Mayer carries on the attack. They're going through the big men though. Ox Unshay, the big loose head.
Release tackle.
And this is better from the Cheetahs.
Yeah, look who's coming from. They're big ball carriers now. Initially Bernardo, Kazim, and that's what it gives you. It gives you the penalty. It gives you a little foothold in the game now.
Away immediately. Yes, 5.
And they need to get on the board somehow and soon.
Shot of goals. Yes.
Yeah, just Cummins, just a little bit too slow to get away from that breakdown. Tia Mayer, the scrum half for the Cheetahs, just telling the referee George Clancy, we can't play that ball away. But Cummins, he's just got to work hard to get out of there. It's a tough old call, but as soon as you hit the deck these days, move. Use your knees, use your elbows.
Okay, yeah.
So a chance for the Cheetahs to get on the board. Straight and true, no problem at all. Johan Goosen.
Well, Rory Duncan, the first points for the Cheetahs, how important are they to settle the nerves?
Yeah, I think settling the nerves is obviously important for us in this game. We've made 2 errors that the Scarlets have capitalised and obviously put points on the board. So good for the guys to settle down. Just but also need to get out of our own half and do a bit of playing in their half.
How frustrating were those errors? Because defensively you were looking quite tight actually at the start as well.
Yeah, we obviously shut them out, in that first 10 minutes or so where the guys were pushing us pretty hard. But yeah, it's one of those things we'll have to deal with, bounce back and try and capitalise on other opportunities we can possibly create in the game.
Rory, thanks very much. 60 minutes to go. Dyna ni felly Rory Duncan yn edrych mlaen at weddill y gêm. A gyda llaw newyddion sy'n newydd ddod I law I ni nawr yn gwybod taw gêm nesa'r clwb rygbi dydd Sul yr ugeinfed o'r mis fe fydd y gweilch yn teithio I Belfast ac y wynebu Ulster. Felly dyna fydd gêm nesa'r clwb rygbi, Gareth.
That was Rory Duncan, the coach of the Cheetahs. And the script could have been written by you.
I was just about to say that Rory Duncan there, what he said, we've got to play a little bit of Terry, sort of limit the unforced errors, and then what did they do? It was a decent little box kick by Mayer, the scrum half. But Small Smith, he's tackled the half penny in the end. Look where they back are now, the 10 metres from their try line, and they're asking the Scarlets to just looks like it's going to be a 6+1 driving line with James Davis set at 9. So come and defend this, Cheetahs.
Rory Duncan never speaks apparently when Richie Reese is drinking a glass of water. Is that right?
That's what I've heard, Philip.
Let's go.
So what have the Scarlets got from this line out? Great attacking position. And the beauty of the Scarlets, they have got an all-court game as well. They can mix it up, as you can see there.
Advantage.
Penalty coming.
Number 7. Jumping over.
Yeah, Clancy then, he's just done Mahoji. Mahoji thought it was the driving line of the ball, hadn't got the floor, so he's just coming around the side, trying to lock that ball off for the turnover, but he hasn't quite realised their tackler's managed to get his knees to deck, which is classified as a tackle. Must release. Scarlets go the corner again.
Can't hear you. What? Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the field. Let's make sure there's no 7 back. Orange just half a step. Throw.
It's Samson Lee, the tail gunner this time in this line out.
You're good now.
Rob Evans, his fellow front rower at the front. Lewis Rawlins does the business, and it's on the wraparound to James Davis, who scents the line. Gareth Davis back against the grain. It's short. Inches in it. Now it comes to Steph Evans. Still the odd centimetre to go.
What a tackle by Oxley there.
And if the Scarlets move it to the right hand side, it's form an orderly queue with one long pass. Not sure they've seen it though. And it's given the Cheetahs a little bit of a chance to reorganise the defence.
Yeah, they got the advantage over the Scarlets.
Parks with the crossfield kick. They'll come back though.
Offside, they're up.
Just 3 phases early. Gareth Davis has got to give that ball to Steph Evans. He's in, but he's looked to go himself, and it's a bit of scramble defence by the Cheetahs. But they are really living on the edge. Cracking start to play. Back peel sent James Davis careering straight at Goosen. And they managed to drag him down, but just a little bit more composure from the Scarlets. You see it there, it's just Cummins with the one, just a simple back peel. James Davis, the 6th Schumann for the Cheetahs, nearly committed for the drive, and it's just left Goosen on his own. James Davis, he's managed to just get there in the end, but it's just this ball here. This next play, he's just got to give that to Steph Evans, and he's in. But again, 5 metre line out Scarlets.
5. They're good there.
Similar formation for the Scarlets in the line-out. Tyg Byrne is tapping it down to Barclay. Now Samson Lee. And that's quicker for Gareth Davis. Lewis Rawlins. Tyg Byrne once more. Options either side now for the Scarlets.
This is where they need to be as well. They're splitting the field, and look how narrow that the Cheetahs are getting.
Now there's a hint of an overlap. Hartley Parks, did he get the rebound?
Yeah.
Almost seemed as if he had a bit of luck then, got the rebound as he went for the half gap.
Yeah, referee George Clancy just giving an initial knock on, which will allow the Cheetahs a little bit of a reprieve. Defensively, the Cheetahs at the moment, they're struggling. We touched on it pre-game that they're the only side to concede and score over 500 points in the league, but you can see defensively why they're struggling. They're in very much in 1s and 2s. People are shooting out of the line, they're getting caught quite narrow.
Come up here. Good picture there.
Scarlets unbeaten in their last 20 matches in the Pro 14 here at Parker Scarlets, and that's their best home run in the history of the Celtic League, or whatever it's whatever you like to describe it as.
What did we talk about, Philip? Kazim looking to carry off that 5 metre scrum. He's just knocked it on and he's gone to pick it up. But he's not happy.
Right there. Yeah, it is, yeah, fine enough. Do you want to go here?
He's reaching into the scrum and again the ball just comes off.
Yeah.
Bernardo, the second of his legs. He's giving the Scarlets.
We've seen a couple of sack the juggler moments at the base, haven't we?
Yeah.
So far. Again, the errors though, Richie, the errors.
Yes, the unforced error. It's a killer for any team. You need to try and limit them probably to within 6 to 8 a game.
Let's see the bind long here.
The Cheetahs have probably gone past 8 already in this opening 28 minutes, and it's then unrelenting pressure. You can't stop it. It's constant momentum. It gives Scarlets a confidence, and here they are, 5 metre scrum.
Free kick given.
Hit and chase. Scrum option.
And you can see the man just at the bottom of the screen, Hadley Parks. If it's not, they haven't got the upper hand in the scrum, the Scarlets, easy go-to man, any sort of short carry. He's getting you gain line. So difficult to stop when he's so close to this try line.
Pre-engaged, okay, it has to be better. Okay, so just trust me on the long
very rarely
pause
makes
between bind and
an error, does he, centre Parks?
Be patient.
Yeah, and that's what for me separates the probably good players from the best players. The best players, the likes of the Lee Halfpennies of this world, and the Dan Carters and the Hadley Parks. There's very little error in their game, and you know, when you flip that to players who are probably good regional players, that's where for me the difference is. There's 1 week you're excellent, and the next you're probably not so great, and you're dealing in detail.
Pre-engaged. Yes,
that's what probably
get the
separates
gap
them for
sorted.
me.
I've spoken about this already. I need to see results now.
Mr. Clancy just having a word with the front rows. There's Wayne Pivac and Stephen Jones.
I'm looking.
The Scarlets crowd, as Richie was just saying, it's not the biggest, but they're certainly getting behind the side. Far side is just a sea of Scarlet. Shirt sleeve ordered as well tonight at Parker Scarlets as Gareth Davis looks for his runners. Tom Pridey. It's just a case of can he get it down? He's certainly over the line.
No, he's struggling. I don't think he got it down. It's great work from Schumann, the 6, if he has managed to hold him up, but they use Parks as the decoy there. It's just a little bit narrower pop. Gooson's over red at the 10, and he's left Schumann out to dry, but he's done superbly well. Went for the old double roll over to Pridey. He's done well as Schumann.
Excellent on the no pre-engage on the last one. So now we just need you.
There's Tom Pridey, still only 26. We tend to forget that because he was capped so young, the youngest ever.
Yeah, and he's still the youngest ever. I think it's at 17 and a half, shall we say? But yeah, and he's still potential. He's still got top end wheels, and at 26, he's still got a couple of years left in him yet.
Product of the Porthcawl Club, and he'll have no doubt been celebrating the fact that Porthcawl won the WRU Bowl last week, beating Pembroke in the final. Gareth Davis with the feed.
Not going anywhere, scrum half.
Held at the back.
Stay on side.
By Barclay. Davis, is he going to strike? May have just given that. Richie Reese raised an eyebrow beside me, and they've been turned of the Scarlets. And Wayne Pivac won't be very pleased about that.
Don't obstruct too.
Murray does the necessary out of defence.
Yeah, decent kick pressure then from Gareth Davis, trying to make up for the initial error, but he's a little bit indecisive at the base. Watch him, he shapes to go on the blind side. He's got Pridey and Parks. For me, you've just got to give Parks that ball. He's probably trying to do a little bit too much, but that's his game, that's the strength of his game. That's what he's very good at, but they just need to look to be a little bit more clinical now.
Right, bring it up.
There's still 17 points to 3 ahead. You don't need to force things. A little bit of composure, go through that extra phase.
And once again, a line-out has gone astray for the Scarlets. They'll have to backpedal into their own half.
So from a 5-metre attacking scrum, they're now just inside their own half of the Scarlets.
Sean, I need you to stay
have to rebuild again.
Bring it forward, Scarlets. They're in the correct position.
I think we're going to hear from Mark Taylor very shortly, the Scarlets team manager.
Hold it 10.
In the meantime, Owens to Tygburn. Scarlets just putting their foot on the ball.
Yeah, he's going to box. This is Gareth Davis, very flat at this back line. It's probably just a little bit too long.
Blue Cheese beats the first man, beats the second man. Finds support as well. Tian Mayer. Murray making the hard yards up to the halfway line.
Back. No forward.
It's gone astray behind again though. And it's the error again that Richie Rees was talking about.
Not gone by your
As Mark Taylor, I think he's going to be talking to Catherine.
Mae di gorffen I sgwrs a mae'n barod I sgwrsio fan ni nawr. Mark, it seems quite comfortable at the moment.
You need to make a change.
There we are, a change. Mae rhaid I Mark yn gadael ni. Fe gai sgwrs gyda fe yn y man. Pidwch a phoeni. Dewch nôl ato ni mewn ychydig funud de.
We're continuing with the game. Come on. Let's go.
I know that feeling, Catherine.
Back.
Yeah, they're just calling Dan Jones over. Looks like it's Lee Arthur. He's having a little bit of attention again.
And this is an interesting character, the man on the right there of Mark Taylor. That's Gwyn Morris, who's a Premier referee, Welsh Premiership referee, and he was the PE teacher of Gareth Bale and Sam Warburton, of course, in Whitchurch Comprehensive School in Cardiff. As Daniel Jones comes on, Lee Halfpenny just walking off. Precautionary, you would hope.
Yeah, it looks like. It'd be interesting to see who goes to 15, whether they shift Patch back there or Dan Jones, the guy who's just replaced him. But it's a centre field scrum, cracking attacking opportunity now for the Scarlets. Scarlets have gone a 4-2 split, so there's 4 players to the left-hand side of the scrum. You've got Patchell and Tom Pridey to that right. So there's 2v2 defence over there, so if Gareth Davis can get, let's get a little bit of head up on this scrum. It's a prime attacking opportunity here.
Advantage.
Davis takes a few steps to Daniel Jones. His first touch goes awry, but the penalty's been given anyway.
Down, lost the feet and down.
Now, Lee Halfpenny off, but Patchell has got a fair old
he can strike
welly.
a ball. Could be interesting now. The 73 up, do they look to go to the corner?
I'll just keep the map, you know.
He's shaping for the post is Reece Patchell, I think. He's just in the sun. Yeah. Yeah, Nicky Robinson there. He's just got the wider angle, and you can see they're defending so narrow, something we touched on earlier, the Cheetahs, so they just go at the back with the pace and the footwork the Patchell and Steph Evans have. It's a perfect opportunity for them there.
Looked a bit scruffy there from Patchell.
Yeah, didn't catch it right, did he?
Seemed to top it a bit, so he'll have to wait to add to his 66 points for the season. 6 of his, or 30 of his 66 points have come in tries.
Yeah, that's the running threat that he is, though. He's been that throughout his career, whether that be at the Blues or down here at the Scarlets. That's, that's a huge strength of his game. He's reached Patchell. He's what he's excellent at. So keep using it, keep going there.
Daniel Jones back to Scott Williams, playing his final game as well as a Scarlet.
Yeah, been quiet at the
home
moment
tonight.
Yeah, he's been quiet at the moment. Hopefully we see a little bit more of him in the second half.
Lewis Rawlings scrabbling over the gain line. Gareth Davis keeping the defence honest.
OJ with a turnover.
Tackle.
Again.
Flipped out before tackle's complete.
It's all happening now. Steph Evans spots a little gap. Evans into the 22. This is what he does best. And a little dink and dare from the wing. And is he going to score a wonder try? Oh, that's fantastic from Steph Evans. Out of nowhere. The little dink and dare behind the defence. And there was only one winner there. And it was that man, Steph Evans.
You've got to applaud him. He's very happy with himself there, and so he should be. But watch, it's come from, it's a double turnover effectively. First the Scarlets, then the Cheetahs, and he comes back on the side of the Scarlets. We can just see here, it's Tagbird and James Davis, but Rob Evans in lock straight on the ball straight away. Oxnish stripped in contact. When you've got a man who beats defenders at will like Steph, you could just see him picking. That's when the mismatches come alive. Venter's got to make that tackle. Bloomcheese is in no man's land. He's on his heels, cracking recognition of space in the backfield, and Steph's just falling over it, falling on the ball over the try line. But it's what you can't afford to do against the Scarlets, is give cheap turnover ball, and that's all the Cheetahs have done in this first half.
Terrific, as Pacho puts over the extras, terrific awareness as well, Richie, from Steph Evans. You know, he made the break initially and had the presence of mind to put the little kick through, and then didn't panic, you know, when the line was at his mercy, didn't see the pound sign, just took his time.
Yeah, but it comes from the majority of the game now. Tries to score from turnover. You know, so the transition from defence to attack, that's where your mismatches will always come. And you know, when you've got a player of Steph's quality, that's always got red, green flashing light all over it. So you've got to give him some credit for that.
And he's one of these players, isn't he? That, I mean, we were there. When he gets the ball, you get off your seat. Even as a commentator, he gets you off your seat, doesn't he? It's great to see.
Yeah, so if you look at you know, key stats in the game, so like defenders beaten, meters made, offloads, Steph will be in the top 3 in the league, and he has done for the last probably 24 months, the last 2 years. And there's a reason that he's playing well, the Scarlets are playing well, because they're playing a brand of rugby that suits the players that the Scarlets have got. But you can't afford to give him any space, and if he's topping those charts week in, week out, it proves something to me that he is one of the best players that Wales have got at this moment in time.
So what we're seeing when we see him, it's not an illusion. As you say, he's got the stats to back it up. That's the way he plays.
Yeah, but what I like about it, that's the strength of his game. And people can pick out, you know, faults in anyone's game, whether he's not be great under the high ball or this and that. But he is very, very good at what he does.
That's just screwed around, guys. That's
and it could become exhibition stuff now from the Scarlets with just under a minute to go to half-time.
Okay, side by. Just out here.
Even the most fervent of Cheetahs fans would probably say they're not going to come back from this. Not given the dominance of the Scarlets anyway.
Yeah, especially when you look at probably the strength and depth the Scarlets have on that bench. You know, you've got Shingler's probably been their form player for the last probably year. You've got Werner Creed, you've got Wyn Jones, you've got Ryan Elias, you've got Will Boyd, you've got quality throughout. And that's why the Scarlets are champions.
Keep it square.
Gareth Davis again looking to run from the base. Daniel Jones to Parks. Scott Williams. An absolute confetti of possession for the Scarlets in this first half. Tatchell, oh, lovely offload out of the cat flap to Tom Pridey into the 22. Davis back against the grain. Daniel Jones, Samson Lee, Tatchell. Is it Foreman orderly Q out on that right-hand side? Ken Owens, a metre short. Gareth Davis to Tyke Byrne.
He's ridden that collision superbly well. This next phase is key.
Ken Owens once more.
Hands out, Orange! Hands out! No!
John Barclay loitering with intent as well. With a bit of a hand from James Davis. Gareth Davis to Tyke Byrne.
Second carry in 3 phases for Byrne.
Now what's on this near side? Daniel Jones. Still using the left-hand side, Barclay.
They just need to regain a little bit of shape now to the Scarlets.
Oh, great pass by Barclay to Tom Pridey, who'd had an excursion off his wing. Cummings. Oh, look at how quick that is for Gareth Davis. Clock is red, so last play.
Release 2.
Parks.
Release
Going to go the short way.
Just patience now from the Scarlets. Look to rebuild, get your main ball carriers on the ball.
Rob Evans. Tyke Byrne. Gareth Davis once more. Now to the right-hand side. Daniel Jones.
Stay on your feet.
Down like a badly packed parachute goes the outside half. It's quick though. He did well to get it back, although it has gone astray now. And is this something for the Cheetahs on the far side as we come to the end of the first half? Tatchell is back there to trying denied Bloomer Cheese, who makes a bit of a haulix of it on halfway. And Mr. Clancy puts an end to the nonsense in the end. And a very, very good first half for the Scarlets. 24-3 they lead, and only one side in it, Richie Rees.
Yeah, most definitely. The Cheetahs aren't helping themselves, but from a coach's perspective, Rory Duncan's got to get them in now and sort of read the riot act. This is 40 minutes they've got for the season. It's it's win or lose, and they've got to look to affect the outcome of this second half.
Join us on the red button in the second half then. Scarlets leading 24-3.
Newn ni glywed nawr oddi wrth y capten Ken Owens sydd y cat. Yn anffodus, problem gyda'r microffon gyda Ken Owens y capten. Mae'n siŵr gen i glywed sylwadau Ken ar ddiwedd y gêm os nad cyn yr egwyl. Felly, fyddwn ni nôl mewn 2 funed gen i glywed wrth yn arbyn y gwir ni yn y studio gyda Gareth. Fyddwn ni nôl ar ôl yr egwyl.
Every team, every glorious finish, every hit, every supporter's dream. All leads to this. The Guinness Pro 14 Final. All roads lead to Dublin. Tickets on sale now. Every team, every glorious finish, every hit, every supporter's dream. All leads to this. The Guinness Pro 14 Final. All roads lead to Dublin. Tickets on sale now. Every team, every glorious finish, every hit, every supporter's dream. All leads to this. The Guinness Pro 14 Final. All roads lead to Dublin. Tickets on sale now. Every team, every glorious finish, Every hit. Every supporter's dream. All leads to this. The Guinness Pro 14 Final. All roads lead to Dublin. Tickets on sale now.
Scarlets yn gyfforddus ar yr hanner. John Barkley'n barod am yr ail hanner. Mae Catrin yn cael cwmni gyda David Bulbring, Springbok arall.
Ydw wir, a mae wedi bod yn ystafell newid. David, what's the message from Wayne Pivac at half-time?
Yeah, I think he's really happy with our first half there. It's a quarter-final, you've got to be happy at 24-3, but we obviously know the Cheetahs are a side that won't go away easily and that they're going to try and attack from everywhere, so it's basically about resetting it sort of at 0-0 and go again.
And as a South African yourself, were you maybe expecting more from the Cheetahs?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously it is a long way to travel, and so they've got a bit of a slow start, and they've maybe turned over ball a lot easier than we thought they would, but yeah, we're expecting a big second half from them.
David, thanks very much. Dyna ni, mae'r dyfarnwr yn ôl yn ei le. Gadewch i ni fynd at y tîm y sylwebu ni. Waiting for you on the red button, Phil Steele and Richie Rees, ond yn Gymraeg y tîm sylwebu, Emyr Lewis, Nicky Robinson a Gareth Charles.
Thank you, Catrin. Welcome back to the Parker Scarlets. With me, Phil Steele, and the former Wales scrum half, Richie Rees. 24-3, the Scarlets lead. Richie, second half, is it just pride, damage limitation for the Cheetahs now?
Yeah, the Scarlets just need to be careful. They don't need to sit back. They've still got an unbelievable amount of quality on this field. Let's start this opening 10-15 minutes of the second half exactly how they did the first. Manage field position, manage time, confidence, composure and ball, and they will break down this Cheetahs defence.
Temperature dropped slightly in the second half here at Parker Scarlets. It was very warm in the first half. Beautiful conditions for rugby. And the Scarlets took full advantage of it in that first half. You have just joined us. Steph Evans with a couple of tries, and Lee Halfpenny as well. Since gone off as the Wales and Lions fullback. Daniel Jones is on for the Scarlets, and Chris Patchell has gone to the 15 position. Gareth David says Patchell kicking down and finding Green in the Cheetahs 22, and that's just about perfect.
Yeah, brilliant work from Patchell. Look who puts in the initial kick. It's Zalinga. It's Bloomchi, sorry, who's the Cheetahs 15. He's kicked, he's chased, so obviously there's no one in that backfield. No one's recognised that. Patchell, there he is, banged it straight back down there, got the field position. I'm sure Wayne Pivac, Steve Jones were going on about a half-time and keep the pressure straight back on the Toyota Cheetahs.
Scarlet shift.
There is Patchell. It'll do him well, actually, to that fullback. He's out of he's mostly in the shade, isn't he? In the second half.
Probably wise as well, Philip.
Once again, errors from the Cheetahs that time. The scrum half.
Mayer.
Gian Mayer. If you have just joined us, that was the story of the first half. Errors from the Cheetahs, great physicality from the Scarlets, and also great handling by the Scarlets.
Big kick pressure in the Scarlets. Get all over him, get all over Tiamir. He's not far away, or Rawlins then. And look at the knock-on effect. Look where Mike Adsom has ended up, the assistant referee. He's just inside now the Cheetahs half. It's a prime attacking opportunity for the Scarlets.
Yeah, here you are. Stay there, Troy.
Billy Basic ball at the front for Tyburn. Gareth Davis off and running. Scarlets on the front foot again. Davis, plenty of options for him. And the Scarlet tide is starting to surge again at the start of the second half.
No hands! Your legs.
Davis to Tyburn.
Last hands!
Now to the left they go. Daniel Jones inside to Pridey.
Tackle the whole though.
James Davis. Rollins again carrying. Gareth Davis, little snipe, hint of a high tackle.
He's turned it Oxnish, fair play to him.
And a chance for the Cheetahs in this start of this second half. Johan Hussen. Again, Richie, I'll let you see it.
Yes, the error that's killing them. But the Scarlets, the initial 3 phases of the starters, where you get the majority of your line speed and your gain line, they did superbly well. But then again, they'll run out a little bit of a shape, and they run out of any sort of go forward. It forces Gareth Davis to probably look for a little snipe, look to carry. He falls a little awkwardly, and he's still down just in the top right of your screen. I mentioned it already, just a bit of patience, a bit of composure on the ball, manipulate that defensive line of the Cheetahs, which hasn't been great once they've been forced to go through a few phases. So hopefully this injury isn't too bad on Gareth Davis. They've got a decent depth in Jonathan Evans on the bench, the ex-Bath and Newport Gwent Dragon.
It'll be a fortnight's turnaround now, of course, for the Scarlets to be do prevail. Obviously, we shouldn't speak too prematurely, but a fortnight before they would, or the winners of this match would go to Glasgow, and the winners of that match would be away to probably Leinster. So if the Scarlets are going to win it, they're going to have to do it the hard way, the tournament, as Gareth Davis gets up. Although Jonathan Evans is coming on in place of it, but at least Gareth Davis is up and bouncing.
Yeah, he doesn't look too happy to come off. Definitely sensible. The right call for me, though. There's no point in risking him. There's bigger and better games to come, hopefully, for the Scarlets this season.
Should, of course, apologise to any Munster fans listening. They'll have something to say about whether Leinster are going to be in the final if the Scarlets come again. Oh, brilliant offload. It's Bridie with a stroll in under the sticks for the Scarlets' fourth. And how simple was that?
Yeah, the last starter we mentioned, they had a line out on the far side of the field, and they got in the initial 3 phases, they got gain line. But just watch this. It's taken them 2 phases to bring him down. It's a lovely backpeel. Again, we've already seen it today, just at the front of this line. See Johnny Evans coming around the corner, looking for the little run around. Dan Jones picks a lovely short ball to Scott Williams out the back door. Tom Pride just tracking on his left-hand shoulder, and he's taking it under the sticks. But that's how clinical, how ruthless the Scarlets can be. Just watch this ball now from Scott Williams. Lovely anticipation and running line from Pridey Mine. He's just on his shoulder, but out the back door. You've got to give Scarlets credit.
Patchell improves the try. And again, Richie, that is not accident. That comes from hours and hours of practice on the training field, doing what they've been doing over the last 2 years. It's what the Scarlets are about.
Yeah, and what's quite funny about it for me, they've got combinations which have played together for years, and now, yes, they're losing some players next year. They're losing to Scott Williams, the guy who was instrumental in that try then. So it's hard, you bring in the likes of Kieran Fornatier in from the Ospreys next season, and it takes a while to form partnerships, to build relationships with players around you, and it's excellent for the Scarlets today now.
And Wayne Tibak started to use his bench now. Rob Evans coming off, good shift from him. And Wyn Jones, nice to see the Welsh international back in the fray after a period out. There's Rob Evans, the Spittle special one, Pembrokeshire's finest. great favourite here at Parker Scarlets, and a bit of old school about Rob Evans, I always think, because it looks as if he enjoys it, doesn't he, you know?
Yeah, we've got to keep a bit of that in the game as well, and we, Philip?
Certainly have. Richard. Again, it's put down in the tackle by the Cheetahs, and Scott Williams is over halfway. Did really well there to stay on his feet. James Davis acting as a scrum half. Tig Byrne. Patchell. Daniel Jones with a long cutout pass to Steph Evans with a bit of space on the far side. Couldn't get his any length on his kick. But once again, Scarlett's just full of running.
And watch Venter again. Oh, he has. This won't be a game he remember particularly fondly. He's both with and without the ball, he's struggling. And as soon as you do that with the Scarlets, they're turnover merchants, and this is what they live for turnover, the transition from defence into attack. But watch, just lovely ball by Scott Williams. So it's a decision Dan Jones has to make here. He's got a short run and a run at the back. It's a double line of attack, and he picks the right option for me. He goes short ball, but watch the anticipation from Pride. He follows him in, follows his running line in, just drifts off the pass, and then scores a try. That's how clinical the Scarlets are, though. Got to give Pridey credit as well. First game back, we've already mentioned it. You wouldn't know he's been out, though.
Stolen by the Cheetahs. And they've got no option now, the South Africans, but to try and just run from deep. Get something going. We know they can do it. Bloomer Cheese finding himself on the left wing.
It's all open there.
Ox and Shea. Once again, the Butterfingers and the Scarlets will be happy to.
Got to go with here, Scarlets. Got to get that away. Oh, it's got to be a penalty.
Oh, I think he's legal here, to be honest. He's legal. There's no advantage for a knock-on, first of all. Relax.
But it was Upa Mahoje who came through.
Just have a look at me and I'll tell you what's happening here, all right?
Clancy was happy with it, though.
There's a knock-on.
Todd Burns got a bit excited, thought they had the penalty.
Scarlet's ball.
Just trying to force this off of Oxney does well to get it away.
Time is allowed to tie laces.
Mahoje just not expecting it.
We were saying at half-time there that it looked as if the Cheetahs never got off the bus in the first half, but they've been in
sometimes they might keep running just
Wales for Monday, you were saying.
Yeah, since Monday they've had the odd game of golf. I think maybe
a
little bit more training or two, but yeah, they've been here a while, and you know it's a big game for them. They came here, you know, with big aspirations to turn the Scarlets over. But at the moment they haven't done themselves credit. They've been superb first year in the league and to perform the way they have, but today they just really haven't been at the races, and the Scarlets have taken full advantage of that.
Barclay, Jonathan Evans has wrapped around to join the back division. Now he comes back to the base. Gets it away to Lewis Rawlins. Very much an unsung hero of this Scarlets pack, Lewis Rawlins. Tig Byrne. Daniel Jones. An interception and a bit of a breakaway here from the Cheetahs. Good tackle by Scott Williams, did well to get back. It's still alive for the Cheetahs. What have they got on that right-hand side? Dinked through by Niall Moraes. Doesn't go to anyone in particular. Referee blows for a penalty as it gets a little bit sloppy.
And you're in front of number 10 Scarlets.
Yeah, Frank Murphy, the assistant referee, has just spotted Ken Owens being offside, I think it was, between Ken Owens and Dan Jones. But that's what you can't really do against the Cheetahs, is allow them a foot back in. They'll kick us to the corner, go to their strength. It was just before that Ken Owens was offside, but Pash has done well to stop that ball being threaded through there.
From a coach's perspective now, Richie, what will Wayne Tivak be thinking? Will keep the pressure on, or will he want to rotate the squad, or is it a fortnight before the semi-final?
Yeah, and if we're brutally honest, 31 points to 3, what will be 50 minutes into the game. I'd definitely roll a couple of the substitutes, but you just reiterate the same message. Let's still play territory. This isn't a showpiece game. We've won the game, yes, but players need to express themselves both individually and as a team. So you know, they haven't got to throw miss 5 passes every
Cheetah's best chance of the match. This on the 5 metre mark.
Roll away, don't go in there now, Scarlets. That's all your own players in there. Stay on side.
Yeah, but it's all a bit slow for the scrum half.
Yeah, it's all very narrow as well for the Cheetahs at the moment. They're going to have to build to get some width.
Now they go to the right hand side. Neil Moraes. Ryan Hugo adding his weight as well. It's all the big one-up rugby at the moment by the Cheetahs. As Mayer has a little sniff. Pass is not great.
It's a poor pass.
Small Smith did well to take it.
More call, just lock it up, which Hadley Parks has done. And they look to play, they turned it over.
Applied applause in the background for the Scarlets turnover.
Okay.
Patchell. And that just about sums the Cheetahs up.
Absolute story of the opening 51 minutes.
Sabale Maxwani with a little wry smile. But he knows he's made a dog's breakfast of that.
Good scramble defence from the Scarlets though. The defence coach has been, their defence has been superb all year. Byron Hayward was more than happy. They bring big line speed to the Scarlets and they say, look, if you're going to get outside us, feel free to do it, but you're going to have to do it within the 15s. And in doing that, you're asking any opposition you play against, you're testing their skill set. If your pass isn't on the button, where we saw Tian Mayer, his poor pass initially.
Hadley Parks. James Davis, 10 metre line. Jonathan Evans. Daniel Jones inside to Patchell. Forgets the ball. Turned by the Cheetahs. The game started to just break up a little bit. Possibly seen more Scarlets errors in this last 10 minutes than the whole of the match.
Yeah, it just comes from probably forcing something, but it just...
That was a sign of exasperation from Richie Rees. I'd like to see the error count for the Cheetahs.
Yeah, and it's just they're not giving themselves an opportunity to probably show what they can do, and I'm not sure what game plan, what prep they've done in the week with regards to how they're planning to attack the Scarlets. But one way you don't attack the Scarlets is to constantly keep giving them turnover ball, because they will absolutely kill you, and that's exactly what they've done.
The halfway line. Ken Owens to throw. Taken by Stephen Cummins, the Australian.
Ken Owens has pulled away from this line out now. Look for a little like inside ball or something.
On the wraparound goes Jonathan Evans. Daniel Jones running hard. Scott Williams cut out past to Tom Pridey. Pridey spots a half a gap, makes it up to the 22.
It's a yellow card for me, that Phil.
Advantage is being played by Mr. Clancy. Patchell to Steph Evans. Ken Owens.
The gain line there. Now that's the killer. That's the killer for the Cheetahs. They're having to run backwards.
Scott Williams is in the 10 position. Daniel Jones. And referee's bringing it back though. Just when Cheetahs thought they might have had a little bit of a chance. He was playing the advantage.
Yeah, a few Scarlets players breathing heavily now. Ken Owens, James Davis, Johnny Evans all got their hands on their heads. It's the end of a long season. It's a nice day. Ball in play time will be particularly high. But just for me, that's a yellow card every day of the week. It's a perfect prime attacking opportunity for the Scarlets. Speed of ball is high. Look where you are on the field. And the Cheetahs have just killed it at source.
He's a mark kicker.
Will Boyd looks poised to come on. John Barclay, it is going to be coming off, and you can Listen for the ovation here, because it's John Barclay who's been a magnificent servant here at the Scarlets, an honorary Scarlet. And just listen to the applause that John Barclay will get.
Back on the line. Are you swim hard?
Hugs all round for John Barclay, magnificent servant, and a well-deserved ovation as the caveman stuff comes on from the Scarlets. Tom Pridey, of all people, is in steerage class at the back. Perhaps he's sniffing a pushover. Try is given. Richie Reese will tell you who it was.
Yeah, it's James Davis. I think there's no way Tom Pridey was getting that ball off James Davis' head, but I think it was James Davis. I think as Ken was just leading the charge in front of him. We'll soon see, though.
Yeah, Ken was going for the phantom try, made sure he was last up, but didn't quite have the ball.
It definitely wasn't a ball there.
Yeah, James Davis awarded the try.
Yeah, you could just see James is locked on the ball there. Tom Pridey trying to get his hands on it, trying to be like a thief in the night, but there's no chance that was happening. That's good. That's what the Scarlets needed, a set piece. Try and cool it down a bit. It's been a bit harem-scarum at the moment, a high error count the second half. That's what they needed. Set piece, go to their strength, go to what they're good at.
And once we've seen this conversion attempt by Patchell, perhaps you can give a comment on the contribution that John Barclay has made to Scarlets and to Welsh rugby. Patchell doing the duties because Lee Halfpenny went off in the first half. He already kicked 2 conversions. Make that 3 with no problem at all. Yeah, Richie, John Barclay, you were saying.
Yeah, he's been superb since he joined the Scarlets 4 or 5 years ago now. But what I like about he's brought into the whole culture of what the Scarlets are about. His kids go to a Welsh school. He's been fantastic for the Scarlets. He's played all across that back row. He's been going back up and down the airwaves to Edinburgh, to Edinburgh, to where the SRU were based, and he's going to Edinburgh next year, but it's going to be hell of a loss for the Scarlets. He's bought into the whole region, and he loves the place. He said he's more than happy to come down here, bring his family back down here on Scarlets, but he's got an opportunity to finish his career in Scotland, where he's from, with Edinburgh, and maybe with things working with a private school running their rugby side up there. So that was too good of an opportunity for him to turn down, but it's most definitely he's been a credit to himself, his family, and and the previous rugby clubs he's played for.
And that was Ospreys bound Aled Davis speaking with Catrin there. And the rugby man in me, Richie, just hopes, or half hopes, that we might see something from Cheetahs, because they've done well to get the quarter-final. They were tough nuts to crack at home at Bloom on the High Veld.
Yeah, and this is probably exactly what they haven't done all game. They've gone to their power carries, the Ventas, the Mahojis, and they're getting a little bit of success with it now. We've only seen 2 successful starts, 2 positive cycles with it. They just need to hold on to the ball, have a little bit more composure about what they do.
Still quite narrow at the moment. William Small-Smith goes back to strength, picked up by Hendrik Venter.
The half-backs haven't been great for me from the Cheetahs, both Mayer and Goosen. There's a lack of control, and Mayer at 9 hasn't played an awful lot this season. You lose shape, you lose strength. You have to try and get forwards back in the game. There's just no options. They're running up blind alleys, and regards to an attack in shape or any form of pattern, you just can't build it when there's a lack of control at half-back.
Just there. Just back a step.
Tatchell with the relieving kick for the Scarlets.
All right.
A general comment though about the South Africans, the addition of the South Africans to the Pro 14.
Yeah, I think it's most definitely been a positive. We've seen, we've seen the Kings probably struggle bits and bobs throughout the season, but it's both of their teams' first season. What I like about it, it's new teams, it's new faces, it's new competition. You can get a little bit stale, but it tests individuals, it tests teams. You have to go over to South Africa for 10 days, for 2 weeks. You learn about your fellow players, you learn about your fellow coaches, you spend that little bit extra time together, and you test yourself against other and different opposition, playing probably a different brand of rugby that we're used to.
Ryan Elias to feed the line out. He's just come on.
Play on, slipped over it.
For Ken Owens, the skipper.
Stay here.
Scott Williams. A lovely dummy from Williams over halfway, over the 10-metre line, looking for James Davis.
Back by Orange, play on.
Couldn't quite find him. As the game breaks up, Max Wane to Charles Marias. Bloomer cheese. That's the difference. The handling is not as crisp as the Scarlets, not as accurate as the Scarlets. Scarlets are on the turnover again. Oh, Jonathan Evans. Well, what a beautiful half hint of a dummy, and nothing else to be said there. Opened up for him beautifully, and a stroll in for the scrum half.
Yeah, it's a cracking line he runs off this breakdown. Watch the width he gets, the ball movement in hands. He isolates Cortez, the tight end prop for the Cheetahs. He puts him in two minds. Will Boyd does well just to hold a little bit of width. But watch him, watch the architect. Oh, again, it comes from the Cheetahs turnover there. Their ball retention today has been absolutely horrendous. Their coaching setup can't be happy. But watch this line John Evans takes. He notices Cortez hanging out on that wing, but then it's between Cortez and T and Meyer. There's lack of communication. Lovely line from Johnny Evans. Will Boyd does well to hold a little bit of width, and it's another try. The Scarlets take the 43 points to 3.
There's the coaching staff. On the left was Rory Duncan, the head coach. Here's Rhys Patchell. 43-3 with just barely over the hour mark, Richie.
Yeah, it's good work from Johnny. We'll just go back and have a look at the Scott Williams. But watch, I think it's Venter inside. He dives, he knocks this ball backwards. So initially some of the crowd here at Parker Scarlets thought it was a knock-on from James Davis, but in the end it's inconsequential. Watch Johnny Evans just before he scored that try, as he's travelling into the breakdown. Watch his vision, watch where he's looking. He's constantly scanning. He sees who's there and he picks him off and allows himself a 5-pointer.
Patchell in the outside half position, and the Scarlets is running at will now. Kick through, looking for Parks, taken by Max Wane. Bloomer cheese. What can he show the Scarlets crowd, who will be his home crowd in a few months' time? Makes it up to the 10-metre line. Raniel Hugo back to strength. Still stuck on the 10-metre line though. And it's all been behind the 8 ball all night for the Cheetahs.
Knee in the ground.
Coulson.
Look who's on top of him though, Tagburn again.
Yeah, the cling film clutches of Tagburn. He's been brilliant in all phases, all season as and last. His defensive work, his support work, his ability to offload.
Yeah, but it goes back to, so he was released from the Leinster Academy 2 years ago, Tagburn, and it goes back to, especially for me, I think, rugby's such a subjective game. Yeah, it's like, my opinion could well be different from yours, as Phil, and for a man of that quality now to have been released from Leinster, I'm pretty sure they'll be regretting that decision. But things happen. You have knocks in your career. You've just got to carry on playing the game. You love the game you want to play, and play it to the highest level you possibly can. That's exactly what Tagburn did. He came to the Scarlets on very relatively few pennies, considering what the other people around him were earning. But look where he's got himself, and look look where he is. He's on the fringes of the Island squad, and he's been the best player the Scarlets have had in the last 2 years.
And having interviewed him several times, he's an absolute gentleman as well, the man from Newbridge in County Kildare. And if Tyg Byrne comes off, he'll raise the roof with the ovation.
And it looks like he's...
It would almost be nice to see him come off, just so he could get the ovation. And I think this is it. Well, just sit back and enjoy this ovation for Tyg Byrne.
Time on.
Well done, that young man. And whatever he goes on to achieve for Ireland, hopefully, the Lions, hopefully, there'll always be a part of him that's a Scarlet, Tyg Byrne.
Yeah, you can just see him looking around the stadium. He's a little bit emotional with it as well, but so he should be fully bought into this place. The fans, the players love him, and he loves it down here. So well done, Tyg Byrne.
Except when he's in a Munster shirt next year.
I'll last for the next 10 minutes.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, 43-3, the Scarlets lead. Moraes. Can the Cheetahs just show something of what they've shown throughout the season in the last 15 minutes?
Yeah, you mentioned hopefully, Phil. Hopefully they give us a glimmer of positivity after this game. But they have struggled today, is the brutal honesty with it. Partly down to how good the Scarlets have been, but they just simply have not helped themselves with regards to ball retention, composure on the ball, and some forcing some turnovers.
Well, people say it's a professional game and players are just commodities these days, but you wouldn't have known that from that ovation for Tyg Byrne. That was great to see.
Yeah, especially from the crowd, everybody on their feet.
He's through the middle, right through the middle.
Macabela is on at scrum half. But he's having no change out of the Scarlets. Another turnover.
Lewis Rawlins and Werner Krieger, between the two of them, they came through the driving line out, spoilt their source, held the ball up, sealed it off, forced the turnover, scrum down, Scarlets ball.
And here's another ovation coming up, I think. If Scott Williams, as I think, is coming off, yes he is. So on your feet again, Parker Scarlets, for Scott Williams.
I'm like a yo-yo here, Phil.
Guys, I think we're all new here. We're all new. Okay. Listen to the call. Be patient. Be patient before I say it. I'm just going to look for that call. You can't hear me.
Of course, he'll be playing his rugby just down the road next season for the Ospreys.
No.
But again, a great servant of the Scarlets.
Stand up, lads.
Yeah, but the brutal honesty with the game now, it's a professional sport. He wants to be playing as much as possible. And when you've got two centres playing alongside him with the quality of John Davis and Hardley Parks, it's always going to be difficult to not nail down that number one starting spot. So fair play to him. He's taking the opportunity to move to the Scarlets. It's a fantastic acquisition for the Scarlets, for the Ospreys, sorry. But it's definitely a loss for the strength and depth of this Slangley Scarlets team. But you know, he knows the situation that he's in. There's a good a bit of quality sitting on that bench now for the Scarlets.
And for once, the Scarlet scrum is in a little bit of trouble.
Under pressure, collapsing.
Blue Machis going for the corner.
There's an attacking threat next year, though. I'm not sure if many of you watched the Dragons Cheetahs game a couple of months back, but he was the best player on the park by a country mile end, and you know, it suits the attacking brand that Scarlets play, and he's not afraid to try something as we've seen today. There's positives and negatives around that.
Hands out,
The try line of the Scarlets in the background. Macabela waiting at scrum half, swoops it away to his big runners. Macabela again with a half a snipe. Paul Schoolman, the blind side, and this is probably as close as the Cheetahs have come to the Scarlets line all evening.
Yeah, I like Macabela. I like the look of this substitution, the substitute scrum half. He's got a bit about him, bit of pressure.
And Hendrik Vented it was who spilled, well, I'm not sure it was quite a scoring pass, but it was near enough.
Yeah, just going back to Macabela, the substitute scrum half. He's brought a bit of pace, brought a bit of enthusiasm to attacking, Cheetahs play. Again, it's just inaccurate. He's got to take that ball. It's, you know, it's a perfect pass, but the basic skills haven't been good enough. Johnny Evans is away.
Yeah, the Scarlets come great take and give by James Davis. Bit of a Barnes Wallace though in the end, and Patchell goes to clear up Daniel Jones, and now Friday kicks downtown.
Here we go. Let's have a look. Let's see what he's got. Bloomcheese spacing that backfield.
With a little hitch kick, and now it opens up. Might have been a bit of blocking, but Bloomcheese has certainly gone through, and it's out to Neil Morais. Morais tried to get the inside pass to Maxwani, but it's still alive for the Cheetahs, and over they go. Or do they?
Definite blocking on Tom Pridey. You saw the reaction from Tom Pridey, but Bloomcheese, he spotted it. It was that man who's just made the error, Venter, but he's just taken Tom Pridey out. He's blocked him. Pridey's reacted, thrown him to deck.
Neil Morais, that man, was the man who got the final touchdown. But this on halfway, you think?
You could just see Bloomcheese now. He's spotting it. You could just see the top of your screen. Pridey, watch Venter. He just goes towards him and pulls Pridey towards him. It's a definite penalty. It's a definite reversal of the try. Pridey reacts, but Clancy's got to reverse this try. It's the wrong angle, this, I think. We've got to take it back to the previous phase, just before that.
Just go back. Okay.
Now, is he going to look for the blocking or the scuffle afterwards, Richie?
He's got to look for the blocking for me. He'll just cancel the tryout, and then everything should be play on. But what's what you do when you've got the ball in the backfield? You look for your own teammates, head towards them. There's always going to be that half split meter either side. Defenders get caught, but this one is just too obvious for me for Venter. He moves towards Pridey, which you can't do. He raises his hand towards Pridey, catches him in the face.
Okay, Leo, they're not showing me any replays.
So he moves towards Pridey initially. Pridey goes in, starts moving in, and he goes towards him, raises a hand, pulls him back.
I don't think Mr. Clancy helped initially, did he? It looks as if he was sort of in the way.
Yeah, what's the killer for Venter? He moves towards Pridey. You've just got to run your line, hold your line, then defenders have to run towards it. But he runs towards Pridey and raises an arm. So cancels the tryout. Byron Hayward, the defence coach, will be happy with that. Still looks like a clean scoreboard to him.
Are you the captain?
And that'll be a penalty, of course.
Okay. So, no, why?
Mr. Clancy doing an adamant impression by the look of it there for the moment. Now it's Patchell then to drive Scarlets down into territory. As the shadows lengthen here at the Park of Scarlets.
Thanks. Good job.
The shadows close in on Cheetahs season, but the light is very much.
So we've got a 6-man line out of the Scarlets. Will Boyd in midfield, who will look to carry. Dummy drive. There's Johnny Evans. There's Will Boyd.
I say the light's still very much shining on the Scarlet season, And they'll go to Glasgow in 2 weeks' time. That'll be live on BBC Two Wales Scrum 5 on the Friday, the 18th, with a 7:45 kickoff. We're going to hear from Mark Taylor shortly, the Scarlets team manager.
Where's Mark? Right there.
Yeah, 3 chynnig I Gymraes, Gareth. Mark, you were right in front of that incident. In the end, we got the right decision.
Yeah, I said this. Obviously the referee's looking at the other things, and we understand that they can't see everything, but it was fairly blatant, and so obviously we'd have been particularly upset if that hadn't been picked up. But at the end of the day, that's why the TMO was there, and they did the right job.
It seems like it's job done now. 2 weeks before you face Glasgow. A few of the players battered and bruised behind us. How are they?
There's a few niggles. It doesn't look like there's anything major. It is just injuries to the point at which couldn't really continue in this game. But obviously, as you said, we've got a sort of a fallow week now. Hopefully the medics can do the job right and make sure that they're ready for the following week.
So no need to panic yet about Halfpenny, Gareth Davies?
No, nothing. I said they're sufficient enough not to be able to carry on this game, but we're very hopeful they'll be able to take part up in Glasgow.
Great news. Thank you very much. Diolch, Mark.
Of course, no fallow week for the man next to me, Richie Rees. His Cardiff Blues team are in Bilbao on Friday, taking on Gloucester in the European Challenge Cup final. That'll be live on BBC Radio Wales. Happy with your plug?
Sure. Thank you, Philip. I'll play you later.
And what's the mood in your camp like ahead of that?
Yeah, good. We've had a quiet week. We just trained Tuesday, Thursday, but we're in tomorrow. We ramp things back up tomorrow when we travel Wednesday. So big week in with regards to the Cardiff Blues. Last trophy we picked up was in 2010 against Toulon in Marseille, which was at the time the Amlin Challenge Cup. It's now the Challenge Cup, so it's a huge opportunity for us. We just need our best players on the park, which I'm sure we'll get. And with the run we've had in the last couple of months, the brand of rugby we've been playing,
14.
The opportunity is huge.
And talking of standing ovations for people leaving, of course, Danny Wilson, end of an era.
Yeah, Danny Wilson, but for me as well, his right-hand man, Matt Sharat, jockey is his nickname. He's been superb for me, but he went on the Wales tour in the summer, and from an attack perspective, he's one of the best I've come across, and he's a huge loss. He's going to the Ospreys, our near neighbours, but it is what it is. It's professional rugby, but between the pair of them, I think the Blues have definitely pushed on this year. It's just up to us now to try and back it up next season.
We'll say live commentary on BBC Radio Wales on that one. Cardiff Blues against Gloucester, live from Bilbao on Friday evening. Bloomer Cheese, a little show and go, takes him up to the 10-metre line. It's all just consolation stuff now from the Cheetahs, who have never really got off the bus, it should be said, this evening. Error count, which probably is way into double figures, I'd have thought, Richie.
Yeah, definitely. They just haven't been competitive today, the Cheetahs. They haven't done themselves they haven't helped themselves at all. It's just that lack of competitive edge, but I think it's the substitute scrum half there. Bella just taking a decent whack. Very well done, George Clancy, to stop that. So he'll be off the field most definitely. We've got to give the Scarlets credit. They've got some momentum today. They've been clinical in the majority of things they've done. The defence has been decent. It's just that one three-pointer they conceded, and we've seen how dangerous they are around starters. You see where Steve likes to attack.
Glasgow, give us a word on Glasgow, what the Scarlets can expect up there.
Yeah, Glasgow are what they have been for the last 2, 3, 4, even 4 years. They've got a new coach, Dave Rennie, with Townsend obviously coaching Scotland, but not an awful lot has changed, and that's for me what they've done very well. They've brought a new coaching setup in, but they just play a brand of rugby that suits the players they have. And for me, from a coaching perspective, that's all you need to do. You need to play a brand of rugby that suits the players, and they do it very, very well. They've got some very good young players. They got George Horn at 9, who's an absolute live wire. He scored, I think it's 11 tries this year in the Pro 14. He's been on the 7 circuit, but they've got the old heads. They've got the Finn Russell, who's moving on to pastures new to racing Metro next year. So they've got talent all over that park. But hopefully they're not Scarlets come away with what we know they can.
What have the Cheetahs got in this last 6 or 7 minutes? Floyd Grief having a go.
No, tackle made, play on.
Charles Moraes. But it's all still gnats against the windscreen against the Scarlets' defence.
On Scarlets, roll away.
As far as the Cheetahs are concerned.
Shot wide.
Wegner that time. Shunted back.
Tackle me in the ground.
There's no change at all from the Scarlets' defence. Venter. Mahouji again.
There's definite obstruction around the breakdown there on Wyn Jones.
Hands out, Scarlets.
No, they're encamped.
Don't come in the side.
Can they at least get something, the Cheetahs? Cut out pass, and they do get a try, and it's that man Bloomer Cheese who scores.
He didn't even go over the line himself.
There we are, he gets a round of applause as well, because he'll be a Scarlet next season, of course. Clayton Bloomer Cheese. I think he realises that. Well, at least he's wearing a Scarlet gum shield, Rich.
But that's a ball over the top from Venter. Hasn't actually crossed it, trying to just dabs the ball down. They've gone for the quick conversion, which was nowhere near. That's the first time they've got any sort of consecutive phases together. They've built something. They've gone through 8-9 phases, and fair play to them. They're still going. It's 43 points to wait with 45 minutes on the clock. It's just taking them that long to do it, unfortunately.
Yes, 27, Clayton Bloomer Cheese, South African under-20s and 7s player. I'm sure he'll fit in very nicely with the Scarlets' style of play in the Scarlets' back division. There he goes again. Bloomer Cheese gets another cheer from the crowd.
Get deliberate, Mike.
Penalty given.
Deliberate knock on.
Bloomer Cheese with the... Was it Bloomer Cheese again?
It's the Bloom Tea show of the last 5 minutes.
It is. It's like as if it's his ball at the moment.
But yeah, cracking with the angle he had. He's gone 45 metres.
There's the man of the match, Steph Evans.
Be a bit more positive.
2 tries for him, including 1 brilliant individual try in the first half. Once again, the pass lacking the accuracy for the Cheetahs, and they have to go behind the gain line and start again. Now here's a chance for Maxwani.
Great tackle, Steph Evans.
Last Scarlets.
Great defence by the man of the match. And they finish with a flourish, the South Africans. They finish their season with a flourish.
Still a bit of hunger in a Scarlets defensive line. Now watch the body angles, watch the speed they're getting off that line.
Mayer once more. The best passage of play of the night for the Cheetahs, and well, that just about sums up their night. The kick was perfectly okay. Reniel Hugo just couldn't gather it.
I'm sure the kick was the right option, to be fair. They've still had a couple of numbers there. He's gone over the top of Johnny Evans. That's my second rows.
He saved the boundary, that's the best you could say about that, I think. Or did he even save the boundary? I don't think he saved the boundary.
What not to do? Turn your hands around. Like a young Ian Goff he was out in the wing, eh? Had his hands on backwards.
If Ian Goff is listening, that's the former Wales scrum half Richie Rees.
It's all right, he's on honeymoon. He's on honeymoon.
Sospenbach ringing out around the Parker Scarlets, which has itself become of age of a stadium this season. Achieved the win over Toulon and then the win in the quarter-final.
Yeah, they sold it out. They had to bring in the extra seating down here for that one. The atmosphere down here was fantastic. That's what they do give you, to be fair, these Scarlets fans. Very passionate, very vocal, and as a player, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, I was here for the Toulon game, the last game of the group, and that was absolutely, well, it was the day that I think the stadium did come of age that night.
Stay up.
I know it's very much a fortress. They've won their last 20 matches at Parker Scarlets in the Pro 14. They're going to have to go away though if they're going to win the Pro 14 to Glasgow,
One back.
and then either to Leinster or Munster.
Leave it now, 17.
As we go through the death throes of this game, the little pick and goes to run that clock down, although Steph Evans doesn't want to run the clock down. He's running out of defence instead. Didn't quite get his pass in, and this is Maxwani looking with intent. It's between him and Patchell. No, did Patchell do the old Malachi professional foul there? Of course not, he says.
He's yellow carded him. It's 80 minutes on the clock.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that yellow card Patchell there?
Just want to double
He's
check
going to have a
here.
look. No, was it a good old-fashioned Roy McFarland centre-half?
Yeah,
take him out?
sure.
He definitely initially went to the
Timing of,
pocket. The timing might be just a little bit out.
Scarlets is legal.
Just wrap the arm, to be fair.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So that's yeah.
A bit of a Norman Hunter there, I'm afraid. You're too young to remember Norman Hunter, the former lead centre-half, but he'd have been proud of that.
So is it possible or probable that he would have got that?
I'm more Vinnie Jones, I am, Steely.
A yellow would be harsh, though, surely. I mean,
That's what I'm thinking as
It's
well.
probably, you know, whether it's,
Okay.
it's a penalty try for
Yeah,
me, but I
it
wouldn't
is.
bother with a yellow. Oh,
it is a yellow.
No, hang on. No, it's not
In
a
the
penalty.
81st
It's not a
minute.
penalty try because I don't think he was going to get to the ball.
For Rhys Patchell. Well, it's all smiles with Sibali Maxwani. At least he gets an ovation, though. Got a superb season again, Rhys Patchell. A lot of eyebrows raised when he left the Blues to come to the Scarlets, but his game has kicked on massively.
Yeah, he's been superb. Rhys Patchell, he's always
pictures.
been, he came through the academy system at the Blues. He went to Glantaff,
Scrum half down. Scrum half
which is
down.
heartland of Blues, of the Cardiff Blues, and you know, it's just unfortunate he decided to move further west, but he wanted to play his trade. The time and 10, they've given him that down here. And fair play to him, he's flourished under the work of Stephen Jones.
Bang! Set!
Final scrum.
It's gone down. We'll have it again. Same team puts in. Yeah.
So that last but one scrum of the game collapses. There's Tyg Byrne, the three levers, Scott Williams and John Barclay. And if he weren't with us at the time, they had three terrifically emotional standing ovations as they left the field at the Parker Scarlets for the last time in a Scarlets shirt.
Let's see the boys, elbows up. Crowd!
No doubt the crowd will be staying around to honour the team
Bind! Set!
when Mr. Clancy's whistle goes. Held at the back by Venter. Meyer. That's never before, but once again, almost a pass going behind. So Alan Shingler giving no change in defence there.
No, happy with that, Frank.
Carl
No, hands
Wenger
out, no, Scarlets, leave it.
has worked hard.
Line speech from Shingler again. OG's ridden it well, but It's a huge trait this season of the Scarlets' defensive policy, their line speed.
Leave it 12.
Charles Moraes gets no change out of Hadley Parks that time. Ding through by Moraes, looking for Maxwani.
Oh.
Well, a picture tells 1,000 words, they say. And that's it. Not to be for Sibali Maxwani, not to be for the Cheetahs in this quarter-final. 43-8 they've gone down to the Scarlets. Thanks for joining Richie Rees and myself, Phil Steele, on the red button.
A mae'r pencampwyr, un cam yn nes, a cadw gafel ar ei coron. Taith i Glasgow yn y rown gynderfynol. Y Scarlets yn gyffyrddus fuddigol dros y Cheetahs, a hynny o 43 yn erbyn 8.
Wel, liciodd honno'n hawdd yn y diwedd. Wel, na, dwi'n y diwedd, honno'n hawdd o'r 5 munud cyntaf, Scarlets.
Ie, oedd ddim yn hawdd i gwylio ar y deged, oedd y Cheetahs yn ofnadwy. Ond oedd y Scarlets i wneud yn union be nhw moyn wneud. Oedd nhw wedi ennill y gêm yn yr hanner cyntaf, a wedyn ymlacio yn yr ail hanner. Ond fflachus o peth arbennig yn dod, Scott Williams yn un arbennig, oedd y pas fe i Tom Pride yn yr hanner.